Hello there everyone, and welcome to another edition of Starry Skies, the magazine programme that tells you all about what's up in the night sky in this spring month of March. I'm Mark Hardacre.
And I'm Steve Tonkin. And tonight we're heading out under late winter, early spring skies to explore what March has in store for observers here in Dorset and Hampshire, because it's a lovely month for observing.
It really is. You know, people say, when is the best time to go stargazing? The answer is any time.
Well, yes.
But March is good. We've still got, we haven't put the clocks forward yet, it's not freezing cold like January and February, so the weather's okay, and we can look at the whole sky more or less from dusk till dawn, and we get a tremendous array of winter, spring, and eventually summer objects, Steve, right?
Indeed, and it's not so cold.
Yeah,
that is what, for an old man like me, that's something that gets quite important.
What you need is one of those heated jackets. I've got a heated jacket.
Yes,
great.
We have people in the club who have those.
Yeah,
I just have some really good thermals.
Yeah. The trouble is, you can tell from Steve's accent, he doesn't come from around here. He comes from southern Africa, where he's used to a bit more heat, aren't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I grew up in the tropics, about 20 degrees south. So, yes, it was.
Anyway, of course, one thing for many amateur astronomers is this is Messier season. Messier season.
And what does that mean?
Come to that in a bit. Even better for us this year, the new moon falls on the 19th of March, which sets things up beautifully for our Messier challenge in the New Forest, and more on that later.
Okey-doke. The other thing that's happening in March, if you are interested in astronomy, with another hat on, I work for the International Dark Sky Reserve at Cranbourne Chase, and every year we have what we call our Dark Skies Starfest, and this year it's being run by Tisbury Parish Council in the village of Tisbury, right. But it's from the 14th to the 21st, something on every day, every evening. There's talks, there's planetarium shows, there's observing sessions, so just have a look out for that and come along if you want to, if you're at all interested in astronomy.
Right, yeah, that would be a great time. That's the whole week again. That's the 14th to the 21st of March.
Yeah.
So our Messier challenge falls within that period. But really, we've got dark skies, we've got moonless nights, we've got spring galaxies rising. It really doesn't get better than that. So today we're going to walk you through what you can expect to see in the March sky and highlight some of those Messier must-haves and give a few tips for tackling the challenge, which we'll come to in a bit. First of all, let's start with the big picture. Those early March evenings feel a bit chilly still.
Yeah.
Not too bad. But there's Orion high in the south at dusk, right?
Yes, and we're starting to lose Orion now. It's sometimes surprising. I think, we're used to Orion being in the sky in winter, and then come, towards the end of March and April, it's actually getting quite low.
Yeah. And we've got Taurus and Gemini, those two zodiac constellations. They're well placed. And the constellation of Auriga the Charioteer, almost overhead.
But very bright star Capella.
Yeah.
That, which is it's lovely.
Right overhead. So lovely orangey yellow. Well, I call it yellowy really rather than orange. Yeah. Right overhead this time of the year in mid-March. But as the month goes on, you can feel that seasonal shift, right? By late evening, we start to see the constellation of Leo commanding the southern sky.
And that's one of the constellations that actually looks a bit like what it's meant to represent.
Yep.
A lion lying down.
Yep. And then Virgo climbing out of the east. Now, to me, Virgo doesn't look anything like a maiden.
No.
Looks like a Y shape, maybe. So we're clearly transitioning from the winter skies to the southern skies, from nebula season to galaxy season. And right in the middle of all this, on the 20th of March, we have the March equinox. Now, the clue is in the word equinox. What's that mean, Steve?
Equal night, specifically.
So what exactly happens on the equinox?
The sun is overhead at the equator.
The sun is overhead. So if I'm in Kenya and I look up on the equator, the sun is overhead
at midday.
At midday, and then it's moving north.
Yes. So by the solstice, it will be overhead on the Tropic of Cancer. It's 23.5 degrees north.
So that's around Egypt or somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
And because it appears to be moving north or south, depending on which way it's going, fastest when it's near the equator, it also means our day length change is much, much quicker around the equinox than...
Right.
So you'll find dawns rapidly get earlier and dusks rapidly get later.
That's probably why we seem to lose Orion so quickly.
Yeah.
Because it's getting nearer and nearer to the twilight, I guess.
Indeed.
Right.
So that's lovely. But the lovely thing about once you've got Virgo in that is it's we get to be able to see what they call the realm of the galaxies.
Oh yeah. We're gonna go through some of those galaxies later on because it's all part of this Messier challenge. The month, though, isn't particularly good this month, is it, for the planets? We're struggling to see. We saw Mercury last month, if we were lucky, but Mercury is too near the Sun now, as is Mars and Neptune
and Saturn.
We've lost Saturn now, haven't we, as well?
But we got Jupiter, and there's nothing wrong with Jupiter.
Nothing wrong indeed. High in Gemini, in the western sky after dark. So it's no longer where it was through the winter there. High in the south, it's moved a little bit west. But it's so bright you can't miss it. And with your binoculars, you can see those 4 main moons. And get your telescope out if you have one. Focus it nice and sharply on Jupiter, and there you'll see those dark atmospheric bands that cross the disk. Very, very nice. So, March is the time for a Messier challenge, and this is where members of Fordingbridge Astronomers and others, of course, will pull an all-nighter in the New Forest. We will. On Friday night, the 20th of March, we're going to try and see if we can, in one night, all 110 objects in Charles Messier's catalogue of fuzzy nebulas. So who was this guy, Charles Messier, Steve?
Well, he was called sometimes the Ferret of Comets.
The Ferret of Comets, yes.
He was a comet hunter. Essentially, what they were trying to do, Edmund Halley had predicted that his comet would return.
He means Halley, ladies and gentlemen. He means Halley. Go on.
I mean Hawley. He sometimes spelled it A-W-L-E-Y. So I think
big dispute, as you can tell, about the pronunciation of comet. Hawley, Halley.
But it wasn't Haley. That was Bill Haley in the comments.
Right.
But anyway,
go on,
whatever you want to call it, Hawley, Halley. He predicted that his comet would return, this particular comet, and he predicted when it would return.
And was he right?
He was right.
Wow.
This is one of the things that made people realize how incredibly powerful rational science is. If you can predict things like the return of a comet, then you have got a very, very powerful predictive tool. And it changed people's view of many things.
And up until then, the sighting of a comet was looked upon by the man in the street as being an omen of bad things because it was unpredictable. And now you could say, well, comet Hawley will come back in 1986 and it will be back again in 60 odd something. We won't be here, Steve.
We won't be here.
So we can predict exactly when it's coming back. And many other comets are like this, very predictable. So Messier, that was his main job as a ferret of comets, to look for comets. Did he find any?
He did. He
8, was it?
I don't remember, but you have
probably
better. You probably have better knowledge of that than I do. But yes, he discovered comets, but he also discovered things that he thought might be mistaken for comets.
Right.
So these fuzzy blobs in the sky, the things we call nebulae. When we didn't know what they were just called nebulae. It just means little clouds. And now we know they're galaxies and star clusters and all manner of things.
So his catalogue then was a list of objects that were not comets.
Not comets. Don't bother looking at that because it doesn't move. It's not a comet. Not interesting. Move on. Yeah.
So the first one, that Messier 1 in his catalogue, M1, that donates. That's the first object that he saw. That's in the constellation of Taurus, right?
It's a supernova remnant. It's a supernova. It's a star that blew up in the year 1054.
And so there's a catalogue from M1 all the way to M110, 110, and these objects are in the sky and are to be found. Now, because of the geometry of the sky and where these objects are, it's not possible to see them all on one night, apart from this very short period around the last week or so of March up to the first week of April. So we're going to have a go on the 20th of March to see if we can see them all.
Yeah, it's actually not possible from our latitude, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it last year because I was laid up at the time.
You were.
But Mark had a go last year, Mark and some others. And how many was it you got?
We saw 107 last year.
That is absolutely brilliant from this latitude. It must have been such a wonderful night.
It was so clear. You've got to hope for cloudless night, and it's got to be then cloudless from 7 p.m. till 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, how often do you have that? And we were so lucky. We would have got another one, apart from there was a tree in the way.
It
was a real. We were looking, and there's a blooming tree right in the way. Oh dear! But it was great fun. We were tired out by the end.
Yeah.
There's not many of us can stay right through the night, and come 6 in the morning, you're ready for your bacon and eggs.
That tree, it's one of the astronomers' rules. It's called the law of selective vegetation. The tree will migrate to exactly where it conceals your target object.
Absolutely. So we always try and do this around new moon, and the new moon this month is around the 19th of March, so it's going to be very, very dark. You can come and join us. We are meeting at the Abbots Well Road car park, which is near Frogham in the New Forest. We start around dusk, which at this time of the year is about 7 p.m. And you can stay as long or as short as you want.
Yeah.
There'll be people there with telescopes. Last time we had about 20 telescopes, small binoculars all the way up to naked eye, of course, small binoculars all the way up to 12-inch telescopes. So we had every possibility, and you could see as many as you want and go home when you want. Yeah. Most people, I would say, make it to about 2 a.m. And then it gets really tough. That's when the tough get going.
It is never warm at 2 a.m. Never.
So let's imagine. Let's imagine just for the rest of the show now that we're out there on that Friday the 20th. What might we see? So there we are. We're all set up. Twilight fades. Telescopes, binoculars, and smart scopes are all ready to go. And we start in the southwest with the showstopper of the winter, and that is Orion.
Of course, yes. Messier 42. So catalogue number 42 in Charles Messier's
the Orion Nebula, one of the brightest and most rewarding Messier objects. Fantastic in binoculars, jaw-dropping in small telescopes, and with a big scope, it really is amazing to see.
It is incredible in a large telescope.
Yep.
And it's also very, very easy to image and get a lot of detail from it.
Yep. Even with a smartphone put up to your telescope, you'll get something.
Yeah.
So do have a go at that if you come and join us. Nearby, you've got M43, which is part of the same complex.
Yep.
And that enables us to tick another one off the box. What we do, of course, is, being geeks, we have a sheet of paper on our table there, and as we go through the evening, we're ticking off the Messier objects as we see them. Next up, of course, is then M78.
Oh, that's a lovely little thing.
It
is one of the few Messier objects that, through a telescope or large binoculars, actually looks like a comet. It might be a comet.
It does, and it's actually a reflection nebula, which is quite unusual in the sky. That's a reflection of starlight off a cloud of gas or dust behind it. So we're seeing a reflection of starlight. So that's tricky to see. Binoculars will show it. Telescope, no problem. But then we can move up from there to Taurus, the Pleiades, and the Pleiades themselves are an M number, M45.
M45. And do not waste your time looking at them with a telescope, because that is boring.
Yep.
You'll only see a little bit of them. You've got to look at them with binoculars. Something like binoculars that magnify somewhere between, say, 10 and 16 times, and they'll fit nicely in the field of view, and you just, it's gorgeous. It's like someone's just thrown diamond dust down on black velvet or something. It's really gorgeous. Although it won't be completely dark when we see it on the Messier challenge.
Yeah, that's true. But so let's move across. We're moving across the sky west. Of course, the sky is, as we're observing through the night, the sky is moving from east through south to west. So we're losing constellations in the west and gaining new ones in the east. So we've got to do the whole sky first. So let's look now. We've got M1, which we talked about earlier. That's the Crab Nebula, the first in Messier's list. And as you said, Steve, that's a supernova remnant of a star that blew up. How long ago was that then?
1054.
1054. So that's nearly 11:15.
It's way past that. It's nearly 11:05. But no, Chinese astronomers actually recorded this, and they called it a guest star.
Right.
Because this star suddenly arrived, very bright star. You could see it in broad daylight. But like any good-mannered guest, it then left again.
Yeah. and they didn't know where it was. And it wasn't really seen again until the telescopic era when it was discovered. And there it is. M1 was the first in Messier's list. And it's quite easy to see. Binoculars will show it faintly. A decent telescope will show it. And it's a nice one to start the catalogue with, I think.
It is.
Okay, where do we go next?
Auriga, which we mentioned before, with Bright Star Capella. And that's some lovely, not just Messier objects there, but there's 3 little clusters, star clusters. Messier's numbers 36, 37 and 38.
Yep. Which is your favourite?
38.
Yours is 38.
Well, it's part of what's called an asterism, a little picture of stars. There's a little curve of stars with 2 above it. And it looks just like a smile with 2 eyes, nothing else. So it's sometimes called the Cheshire Cat. And one side of this Cheshire Cat's grin is Messier 38.
I do. Steve Tonkin knows so much about the sky; it's incredible.
Wow.
You know, and I'd forgotten. M38 is a very nice cluster. Yeah. My personal favourite is M37, which to me it's what I call an open with an O and an open cluster, proper one. You know, open cluster. It's rich and it's dense and it's peppered with faint stars. So with a decent sized telescope, it fills the eyepiece and it's lovely to look at. Yeah, that's my personal favourite.
I think as quality of clusters go, it's very nice. It's just in the wrong place. If it was the other side of the smile.
Right. Okay, let's drop south now into Gemini. There you'll find Messier M35.
The queen of clusters, that's called.
That's also one of my
that is gorgeous.
Yeah. Do you know what I love to do with that M35 is go out there with a nice sheet of paper, and a 6B pencil, and sketch out all the stars. Try and capture the shape of the cluster. It takes you maybe 45 minutes.
You have more patience than I there, Mark.
I love it. Taking a picture of it is easy, of course. Yeah. But mapping it out, sketching it by hand,
or just look at it and enjoy it.
That's indeed right. And nearby there's another lovely little cluster which is called NGC 2158. It's not a Messier object, but it's right next to M35, a very, very tiny little tight open cluster.
So what does NGC stand for?
New General Catalogue, right? So this NGC, this was a catalogue made up of around 7,500 of these objects. So Charles Messier was the first to identify these fuzzy clusters and nebulae and so forth with his 110, but he was swiftly followed by William Herschel and sister Caroline, who identified another several thousand of these things.
William's son.
And William's son John.
Sir John Herschel, yes.
So those catalogues were all put together in the 1800s, I think it was.
Sometime in the 19th century.
Was
it Dreyer who put them together?
Yeah, I think it was Dreyer. I think you're right. We've not written it down here, but I think it was Dreyer who put this NGC catalogue. So the 7,000. So when you finish the 110 Messier, do have a go at the 7,500. Yeah, it'll take you a little longer to do. But so now the sky's dark, and we've lost Orion towards the west. We've got Cancer now due south, and there we've got right in the middle of Cancer the famous Beehive cluster. Again, one of your favourites, Steve.
Indeed. The little cloud, Nephelion, it used to be known as, which means it's a little cloud.
M44.
And that is gorgeous. Yep. And it's beautifully framed by 4 relatively bright stars. So sometimes called the Manger, or
that's it.
Praesepe.
Yep.
It's really it's lovely. And the other thing you'll see with it, if you look at it with binoculars, is the brightest stars are in the centre and the fainter stars are at the outside.
Yep.
And if you can imagine, sort of stars throwing each other around, the smaller ones are going to get thrown further, and that's what's happening with gravity. It's called mass segregation, and it's so obvious in that cluster.
It really
you can
is.
really start, by looking at these things with a little detail, you could start learning a lot about astrophysics and how these things work.
Yep, indeed you can. So M44 that's the beehive, and then just a little bit further south is another more compact open cluster, also visible sometimes with the naked eye, but best with binoculars.
Yeah.
That's M67, very nice. And these are perfect Messier challenge targets, easy to find, easy to locate, quick to log, and very satisfying. But now it's getting towards midnight, and the observing focus now shifts dramatically. So the open clusters and the nebulae that were above us now move, and we've got the galaxies rising.
Yes, you'll notice because we're away from the Milky Way now.
Yeah.
The Milky Way is full of stars and dust as well.
Right.
Basically, soot and sand,
So
carbon and silicon.
That's right. And so we can see further out, right?
Yeah.
We can see further, not just looking into our Milky Way, further into distant Milky Ways or galaxies. And they're proudly rising in the south is Leo and Virgo. And this is where we start to earn our keep. This is where it gets busy.
Not only gets busy, it's actually quite difficult to identify which is which.
Yeah.
Because there's so many of these galaxies there. Oh, but it's lovely.
So to start with, there's three in Leo, the so-called Leo triplet. That's M65, M66, and another one called NGC 3628, the Hamburger galaxy. And these are really a must. They're easy to find in a decent scope. You won't see these in binoculars, really, not too easily.
Well, you can detect them in
Yeah.
binoculars. So you'll need 70mm binoculars,
Yeah, that's it.
unless you've got very dark skies. I know some people have seen them in 50s.
Yeah.
My eyes aren't good enough for that anymore. But 70s, they're relatively simple. If you use what's called averted vision,
Yeah.
which is where you don't look directly at it, you look right, and it's so you sort of see it out the corner of your eye, sort of thing, and that's
They jump out at you.
Yeah.
Anyway, then let's go further to the west. You've got M95, M96, and M105.
Yeah.
So that's a group of three compact galaxies together. And, all of them, all these galaxies and all these objects will benefit from it being a totally new moon. And, okay, now it starts getting tough. Now we're getting tired. It's 1 a.m., it might be 2 a.m. The clocks go forwards and backwards. Oh, well, not actually that particular weekend, but around this time, the clocks often go backwards and forwards, don't they?
Yeah.
And now we're rewarded with a Virgo galaxy cluster. And now there's hundreds to go at. Oh,
This is where I get lost.
Yeah.
And using binoculars, as I tend to do, you look at this galaxy cluster and you see these ones out the corner of your eye, and then you look at them and they disappear because you're no longer using averted vision. And it's really weird. It's really difficult to count them even.
yeah. There are dozens of them here. Really dozens of Messier. So you've got M84, M86, M87, M49. And really, I find the only way that we can pick them out is by using the go-to on a telescope. So you can actually tell the telescope, please go to M84, and it's, there it is, you can see it. Yeah. But to segregate them and separate them in a pair of binoculars, very tricky, very tricky. So many of them.
I once did this full Messier challenge, or Messier marathon it's called, when you try to do the whole lot, from the Algarve. And there we used a 12-inch Dob for most of it.
Yeah.
We took a little 6-inch telescope over the hill to get the early evening ones, because otherwise we'd never see them. When we came back, we used this 12-inch Dob, and identifying which was quite tricky.
Yeah. Was this before go-to? So you
no, there was still go-to.
Right.
It was. We felt that the challenge for us was to be able to find and identify them ourselves.
Yeah, and that's fair comment, really. The original Messier marathon was set up, I think, in the 70s or 80s before go-to, where the purpose was to find them, identify and tick them off. Today it's dead easy. Go to M84, boom, there it is, easy.
Although go-to at that time, unless you had really expensive stuff, you couldn't actually be confident that the galaxy it said it was at was actually it. So you still needed to be able to identify them by comparing them to a chart.
Anyway, we mustn't forget then the objects in Ursa Major. So as the sky rotates, it's now 2, 3 in the morning. We've got the plough is now rising, Ursa Major rising, and we've got those beautiful galaxies M81 and M82.
And they are great. With low magnification, say about 40 times, you can fit them both into the same field of view. So you can see them both at once, and you can try out this averted vision thing with that. You look at one, and it fades, and the other one gets brighter. You look at the one that's just got brighter, it fades, and the other one gets bigger and brighter. And this is your averted vision at work.
Two very nice.
They are very different as well.
M51, the Whirlpool Galaxy, close by. The very, very nice one to find in binoculars.
That's the other side of the plough asterism near the tail.
And then don't forget globular clusters. So we've talked about nebulae, open clusters, we've talked about galaxies, but also then we've got Messier objects that are globular clusters. So globular clusters, I call it a glistening snowball of stars.
Oh, it is. So you're looking at maybe 100,000, 200,000 stars. The clue is in the name. It's a ball, it's a globe. Tend to be denser in the middle, less dense on the outside. And to see these in a large telescope is absolutely magical.
It is.
A big one,
And one of my favourites is M3, so Messier 3, excuse me, rises nicely in the east around 2 o'clock in the morning on challenge night. So you've got to wait there. It's a lovely object. Again, in my 12-inch Meade telescope, it really does look like a snowball of stars. It's terrific. You can resolve the stars right into the middle of the cluster. Very, very nice to see.
It is. The only thing about it is there's no bright stars nearby. So it's if you're not using GoTo, it can be interesting to find. But
tricky.
Usually there's... If you come with us to the Messier thing, I can show you how to do that because it's on the intersection of lines joining two pairs of stars.
It is, yeah. So we can even then think about seeing M13. That's the biggest globular in the northern sky.
But that's going to be dawn. It's not so good. That is going to be better later in the year.
Yeah. And the last hurrah of a Messier challenge awaits those who are still up at 4 a.m. when the summer constellations of Scorpius and Sagittarius finally appear. And then we'll see those lovely emission nebulae, the Lagoon Nebula M8, the Trifid Nebula M20, and of course M22, the globular cluster in Sagittarius. But of course,
they're low down.
They're going to be very low, and they're tricky to find. You've got to make sure the trees aren't there, of course. So, as Steve said earlier, to find all these 110 objects in the UK is impossible, as some of them don't even rise until the sun's up. We did 107, and maybe we'll do 107 this year. We look forward to it. If you can join us, please check the Fordingbridge Astronomers website for more details. And don't forget to wrap up well, because it can get cold in the morning.
And it's looking for a particular group of objects. And it's really... It could be any group of objects you're looking for. But the best thing about this is the camaraderie of being with like-minded people and spending an entire night contemplating the sky. It's magical.
It's great fun. This is about the 4th or 5th time we've done it.
Yeah.
So the planets and constellations that we've mentioned today can be seen on our monthly star chart, which you'll find on the Forest FM Facebook fan page, online at Fordingbridge Astronomers and at Wessex Astronomical Society, and it will show you the stars around the 15th of March at about 10 p.m. And if you're interested more in finding out about astronomy, please contact your local clubs, not just Fordingbridge Astronomers. We meet every third Wednesday in the month at the Elm Tree in Hightown in Ringwood. But there's also...
there's the Wessex Astronomical Society, oldest society in the area, and that meets at the Allendale Centre in Wimborne on the first Tuesday of every month.
And Cranbourne Chase Astronomical Club, they meet on the second Wednesday of the month at the Grosvenor Hotel in the centre of Shaftesbury.
Yeah, and come along, because all these clubs like to meet new members. You don't need to have any equipment or anything like that. Just one good eye is at least is enough, and you a curiosity about what's going on in this wonderful universe of ours.
So we look forward to seeing you next month for April's Starry Skies. Until then, it's goodbye from me, Mark Hardacre.
And from me, Steve Tonkin.
And as usual,
Clear skies.
Oh. Yeah, we had a minute.
We didn't.